Alright, I'm here working on this Kawasaki's FC420V. This is on my John Deere 170. And it had become increasingly hard to start. At first I thought it was a bad battery, and I'd put a jumper on it, and it would get, higher cold cranking amps, of course, and it would finally start to turn over. And yesterday it was like, even with the jumper on it, I had to use the key and bump it, and it would finally start turning. And when it would start, with the choke on and everything, it was just bam, 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 billowing exhaust out of the pipe, and every once in a while it would backfire. So what I'm thinking, and I just checked the battery, I put a charger on it and it showed full just within half an hour or so, and I just rechecked it and the battery is actually holding a charge. So usually when it's kind of hard to start like that, one of the first thing I do is check the valves. So I am going to, you can see I already took the hood off, and I'm going to take this this shield off, and it should give me good access to the valve head cover. And I'm going to check the gap and re-gap if necessary, and I hope that's it. I hope that's all that's wrong with it, is just readjusting the valves. Because sometimes when you're doing it, it could be the compression release mechanism that's on the camshaft. If that goes wrong, then it can become increasingly harder, because it doesn't have that slight compression release that makes it easier to start, right? But we'll see. I'm going to take this off and we'll check the gap, and I'll show you how to readjust. All right, so let's finish taking this shield off. Should be just 4 to 10 millimeter bolts here, 2 on each side. Go. Go. Gasket looks good. Made in Japan. Alright, so we need to get this over to top dead center. Take the spark plug off, make it a little easier to rotate. Yeah, see it. I said it was blowing some black smoke when it was with the choke on. You can see how all that black carbon that built up, so it was definitely running rich. But that's the only way I could get it to start. Alright, it should be top dead center. So I looked up the specs on this, and it's calling for 0.006 on both intake and exhaust. So that seems a little loose. This one's a little tight. I think I'm going to let this one out a little bit. I'm having to force it in. That one's probably okay. So, alright. So you can see, has this Allen head and then your lock nut here. Now I can see the little marks on here. This has been adjusted before. So it's a 12mm nut and an Allen wrench to knock it back and forth. So we'll loosen that sucker's on there. This will loosen it up. There we go. Now that should do it. That got it. First time's a charm, right? So that is it. Just a slight adjustment. Just the exhaust side seemed like it was pretty tight, and I'm just going to put it back together, and then we'll see if it's still hard to start. The gasket is in very good shape. Now I'm just going to loosely put them on with this, and then I'll hand tighten it. I just like the feel of hand tightening. Gives you that's got it. Let's clean the spark plug off. Put it back in. I just picked up some more stuff. Check that puppy out. Looks like a little homemade generator. A pretty old one. Big muffler on it. Looks like a Briggs & Stratton. 2 horsepower. It's an oldie. Looks pretty cool. Be interesting to see if I can get this sucker running and see if it still pumps out some power. Yeah, it looks like a little homemade job. Pretty cool, huh?